Welcome back. Okay, I am so incredibly glad you're here today because we're looking at something literally every single one of us does, usually without even realizing it. You know what I mean, right? Have you ever caught yourself just staring out a window or maybe standing in the shower, completely lost in a made-up conversation, or maybe a complex situation that hasn't even happened yet? Well, today we're diving into an explainer of the fascinating source material titled The Architecture of Anticipation: Why You Imagine Fake Scenarios. We're going to unpack the actual psychology of future simulation. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to look at your own mind in a completely different way. So let's get right into it. Section 1. The Fake Scenario Habit. Your daily daydreaming decoded.
So why do you imagine fake scenarios? Seriously, take a second right now and just think about your own mental habits. Think about the last time you did this. Maybe you were gearing up for a notoriously tough conversation with a colleague, or imagining how an upcoming party might go completely off the rails, or honestly, even just plotting out a basic step-by-step interaction at the grocery store. Why do you think your brain spends so much of its valuable energy spinning up these elaborate fictional situations? Because let me tell you, it takes an immense amount of cognitive power to render those detailed mental movies. So what's the actual structural purpose behind all that effort? Well, it's not just random static in your brain. There is actually a profound underlying cognitive mechanism at work here.
Which brings us to Section 2. What is predictive thinking? Unpacking the brain's simulation engine. You know, society loves to feed us this massive myth. The myth that imagining fake scenarios is just a bad distraction. We're constantly told, oh, you gotta stay in the present and stop letting your mind wander off into fantasy land. But the reality, which is grounded directly in our source material, is entirely different. This isn't a distraction. This is your brain preparing. It's actually a highly sophisticated cognitive tool. You aren't losing focus at all. Your focus is simply shifted internally. You're basically conducting a rigorous psychological rehearsal for the real world. So yeah, we aren't just absent-mindedly daydreaming here. We are running a complex internal simulation engine that is working tirelessly to map out potential futures. And when psychologists talk about predictive thinking and mental rehearsal, they're referring to the specific psychological processes where the brain simulates future scenarios to prepare for uncertainty. That is the exact core mechanism happening in your head. When you imagine that fake scenario, your brain is actively trying to map out a safe path through something that hasn't happened yet. Why? Because that future event contains a variable of uncertainty. It's kind of like trying to solve a giant puzzle before the pieces even arrive. Your brain is running countless what-if calculations to make absolutely sure you are ready for literally any outcome. Moving on to Section 3, the architecture of anticipation, how your brain builds the future. Okay, I want you to think of your mind not just as a dusty old hard drive storing memories, but as an active, brilliant architect. It takes blueprints of the unknown, grabs whatever past data it has, and constructs a literal virtual reality for you to walk through. And this process follows a really specific sequence. Step 1, you encounter uncertainty. Something in your upcoming life is just a big unknown variable. Step 2, your brain recognizes this massive gap in information and immediately starts to simulate a future scenario to fill that void. And then Step 3, the ultimate payoff, preventing you from being caught off guard. This is the exact blueprint of anticipation. Your brain is running these simulations sequentially to shield you from the shock of the unexpected. It's an absolutely brilliant evolutionary defense mechanism in action. And that leads us to Section 4, reducing the unknown, the ultimate goal of your mental rehearsals. Our source material distills this whole concept into one incredibly powerful thesis. It says mentally rehearsing a situation before it happens isn't just a distraction, it's your brain's way of reducing the unknown so you're never caught off guard. I mean, wow, that is such an incredibly validating way to understand the human experience, isn't it? It proves that your brain is simply trying to protect you. Think about it from an evolutionary standpoint. Surprises in the wild could literally be deadly. So that intense mental rehearsal, you know, that fake scenario playing on an endless loop while you're just trying to fall asleep, it's a purposeful, protective measure against the unknown. It's a feature, not a bug. And it's perfectly designed to minimize potential threats so that you can navigate your waking life with total confidence. So as we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one final empowering question. What is your brain preparing you for right now? Seriously, the next time you catch yourself drifting off into some elaborate fake scenario, don't just snap out of it and feel guilty for being distracted. Instead, recognize it for exactly what it is. Acknowledge the architecture of anticipation at work in your own mind. Ask yourself, okay, what uncertainty is my brain trying to solve right now? Give your brain a little thank you for doing the hard work of mental rehearsal so you're never caught off guard. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and definitely keep paying close attention to the incredible things your mind is building for you.